What's going on? What's going on? It's Trans Gamer Live, and I'm finally back. We've got long form video for we got a long form video for you today, and hopefully you'll be into this one. It's plastic surgery versus natural beauty. It's a middle ground by Jubilee. Absolutely love Jubilee. If you would, please like, subscribe, follow this page. Also follow every one of my social medias. You'll find that I'm a very social bird. If you if you really do look at it, I'm a social bird. I'm just saying, gets lonely out here. It gets lonely. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, I love making these videos for y'all to like, subscribe, even discuss the videos down there. I may not know a lot about the topics. Oh my God, I've got an itch. I may not know a lot about the topics, but we're going to I am the first YouTuber that's ever done that on screen. Yeah, that's a first. But anyway, I may not know a lot about the subject, but what we're going to learn here is about plastic surgery versus natural beauty. It's a middle ground. It's by Jubilee. There you go. There you go. Come over to Twitch. We're live there almost every night. So let's go ahead and switch it over, and let's do the video. All right. We are on the video right now, and they're just starting this. By the time that this came out, it was only a day ago, so hopefully we get it good. So let's go ahead and go in and let's do this video.
An implant changed her whole face like crazy.
And no matter how much cosmetic surgery you receive, you're thinking of little things you can change about your body constantly.
Why does somebody else changing their face bother somebody who's happy with themselves?
Happiness is key. I will say it like that. If you're happy with yourself and happy overall, it shouldn't matter to anybody else.
I'm Ka Takahashi, and I'll be moderating this episode of Cosmetic Surgery versus Natural Beauty. The first prompt is, cosmetic surgeries should be as normalized as makeup. Can the agreeer step forward?
I say if you have the money, go ahead. Make it as normalized as you do makeup. But the thing is that if you don't have the money and you're depending on somebody else to give it to you, no.
I kind of see a lot of cosmetic surgery as kind of like high maintenance to be low maintenance type of thing. So girls who are overlining their lips every day, like just get some lip filler, like get the, the Botox or anything. I mean, it kind of starts with makeup, like the girls who are putting on the makeup every day before school when they get a little more money in their pockets and they get a little older and get a little freedom. Yeah, those are probably the girls that are a little more inclined to want to get stuff done. It's a little more severe to go under the knife than to wear makeup, but I mean, it's something that happens every day. It's LA, and I just don't think people talk about it because it's so taboo.
Originally, the prompt said surgery, and I don't think surgery should be normalized, but then you started talking about like
Botox, yeah.
lasers, skincare products. Friends and acquaintances that I know who also are aging gracefully. Somebody gave them the secret when they were in their 20s. Our collagen starts going to shit at 25. So if you're not doing things that boost the collagen in your skin,
This doctor, I really do. Not afraid to use words. Not afraid to use words. By the way, if you haven't been following everything below me, do so, please.
At the age of 25, you're going to be playing catch up at some point. If there's something that you could have done, like regular exercise or stretching every day to help you age better, why not do that for your appearance if it's simple, safe, and you're doing it with a trusted physician?
But surgeries, you would say, that should not be normalized.
I don't think it should be normalized, but I'll give you an example. This is gonna sound crazy, but go with me. So I had a girl brought in by her mom for a labiaplasty, and I was ready to walk in the room.
Okay, a labiaplasty is to reduce the size of the labia minora. Okay.
Room and be like, are you freaking crazy? Like, what are you thinking bringing in your daughter for a labiaplasty? And I walked in, and this girl had a normal labia on one side, and on the other side, she had a labia as long as my finger hanging out. When she was at the YMCA, it would fall out of her bathing suit. She was getting teased by her friends, and she said, Mom, I do not want to go into high school with this thing hanging out of my vagina. I did it awake. It took me 15 minutes to give her a normal anatomic labia that matched her other side. So should we normalize access to feel your best? Absolutely.
Bring the disagreeers in.
I think plastic surgery shouldn't be demonized, but it also shouldn't.
See, I have, and maybe I hold a different, something like that. Even though there was a patient and stuff like that, you shouldn't be telling that to other people, especially with it being on YouTube. That's just me. I don't know what to say. I am at a loss for words for this. So yeah, let's keep on moving.
Shouldn't be normalized totally, completely either. In that way, stealth can also be quite dangerous for people because people are dishonest about the work they get done, and they give this unrealistic beauty standard. I didn't know a lot of girls had BBLs when they were selling workout plans, things like that.
Totally.
BBLs?
Yeah, Brazilian butt lift, which is what I have two of.
Okay.
I don't think plastic surgery is wrong. The little girl you're talking about, we can all imagine what that would be like, having some kind of abnormality in your body, or if you have a cleft lip, or something that makes you feel so othered. I can understand that. My issue with the idea of normalizing surgery, you have young girls. When you're 18, you get to decide if you're willing to take on the risk. 18-year-olds don't really know anything. I don't want a society that tells young women especially, you need to change these things about yourself surgically.
So I think it's very important that we make it.
I absolutely agree with her. I mean, whenever you're 18, you don't know. Even at 39, sometimes you're like, should I? Should I not?
Distinction?
Yes, there we go. We got it. It was there. Between makeup and surgery, because that was the prompt, right? I even faced troubles when I was doing certain surgeries, right? And I had to redo things. And I think once you go down that slope and that route, it goes into like another tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Makeup, it's something that's so easy we can take it off, we can put it on. So that's the only reason why I disagreed. I don't think it should be as normalized as makeup because it's just two totally different ball games.
I completely agree with you, and to a certain extent, I would say, looking at like the makeup industry, makeup in a lot of ways is a little bit too normalized. So
I don't think I would want to take that a step further. And if we're normalizing makeup, which in a lot of ways there are women and men who can throw on makeup and it changes the entire shape of their face, and you take it off and it's a completely different person underneath. Surgery does that in a more permanent, invasive way.
that.
The goal is to move away from alteration of the self, of the person, and move towards, acceptance.
So alteration of self and permanency are two things that you brought up. Would you apply the same to tattoos and piercings?
Yes, and I say that as a person who has tattoos, and in a lot of ways I look down and I think about myself and I go, why did I feel the need to change this, person
Because
that I
was your
was?
self-expression, though, what you wanted to visualize.
Physical expression, whenever you get a tattoo and it's permanent expression until you wipe it off, but then it looks like melted skin. Do I have a tattoo? Yes, I do. I'm planning on getting more, but to tell you the truth, like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's about expression. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was a convinced self-expression, and we talk about aging, and the phrase "age gracefully" was used. When I think about aging gracefully, I think about somebody who is looking at the wrinkles on their face and going, "Oh, that was a laugh that I had back when I was, 23. This mark that I have on my stomach is from my child who's now in his 30s." Why don't we view that as aging gracefully? Why is there no grace in accepting the wrinkles?
One wrinkle or seeing a little mark on your belly is not what these women are coming in for. I've had patients who are so blown out in their abdomen that you can see their intestines moving under their skin after they've had 4 children.
Sure.
So is that okay now? Or maybe there's like this one definitive spot where like this is okay, but this is not, in the non-plastic surgery. Who determines that?
Yeah.
You don't want to demonize the plastic surgeon. You don't want to demonize the plastic surgery. You don't want to set arbitrary posts for when it's okay and when it's not okay, or how bad it is before you do it, or how bad it's impossible.
The cosmetic surgery industry exploits people's insecurities.
Cosmetic surgery industry exploits people's insecurities. I mean, then why are you getting cosmetic surgery? I mean, because you had to have some type of insecurity to want to change that one thing. That's just like with trans people having gender dysphoria is the reason why you have to change who you are. Now, we could go into different aspects of gender dysphoria, but I mean, in all actuality, that's what they feed on. I mean, cosmetic surgery is what is the people's insecurities and what they want to change about themselves.
Wow, we all agree. Okay.
When you have trends where all of these women are getting the exact same boob job, the exact same lips, or the exact same nose, it's almost impossible to deny that insecurities are being put onto people.
Imagine that the plastic surgery / cosmetic surgery realm would naturally not exist if it weren't for insecurity, and if we could somehow alleviate that pressure that women in particular feel quite often, then it would be an industry that would be going out of business.
I disagree with that. I mean, I'm a plastic surgeon, and I think that the answer is yes and no. Similarly to maybe fashion. Also, is that also, push-up bras? Is that also a terrible thing? The analogy that I always give is if you're gonna go buy a couch, you can go buy a paisley couch. You can do that. That might be the trend. Or you can buy a neutral couch and change your pillows. So I'm the type of plastic surgeon that always promotes a neutral couch, and you can change your clothes, as trends come and go, but you wanna keep your body healthy, natural looking, a very neutral canvas, and then you can play with it. You can have fun with it. So as far as insecurities go, If a woman has 4 children and her stomach's completely blown out, her breasts are hanging down to here, can't even show your waist, she feels so insecure that she hasn't slept with her husband in 2 years, should we just tell her to learn to love her body, or should we do a 4-hour procedure in a healthy woman who's a mother who wants to feel like, hey, I want to be in a bikini again. I want to have intimate relations with my husband again and not be thinking, oh, is he touching flab here?
Yeah.
Oh, does my breast not look normal?
Do you feel like that?
On the other end, if you love somebody, it should not care whether the other person's touching flab or not. Coming from an obese person, because I am 350 pounds, it shouldn't care whether, yes, I say that, but yes, you can always change yourself, but it shouldn't be because the other person or because of status quo. It is because you want to change your person, yourself. It shouldn't be because this person wants me to. So
That is the most common belief amongst plastic surgeons, or do you feel like you're more of a minority of thought in that?
No, you know, I think when I first started out, I was more of a minority of thought. This is my 11th year in practice, and I've always been into natural results. I haven't moved my forehead in 16 years. I have 15 syringes of filler in my face, but you would never know. Big tip, if your surgeon looks like an alien, you're about to look like one too, because that's their aesthetic, right? I do feel like a more athletic look is definitely more in now, so I'm hearing a lot more surgeons being vocal about that natural aesthetic, but I do agree with you that it wasn't always that way.
I'm curious because we're seeming to be drawing a distinction between whether or not the results are natural or whether or not the results turn out to be what we would, I guess, call botched. I don't know that it changes the root insecurity that leads people to go and seek out plastic surgery. Do you all feel that insecurity plays a super large role in the choice, or you're doing it for yourselves?
Can I jump in there?
Yeah.
So growing up, I was super insecure. I had no curves. I was always made fun of for not having any curves, so that's why I have such an exaggerated shape now. And I always tied my self-worth to how I looked. And I feel like I was a victim of the plastic surgery industry in a way, and beauty standards, and I have to agree on that aspect, yeah.
Insecurity.
if you go by the beauty standards, and this is going from every year from like the 1920s all the way up to what we got, 100-year gap. There was no, everybody was themselves until the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's, oh, we need Botox, we need this, we need that, we need this. You know what I found out before this video? Because I was talking to one of my mods, and we was talking about Botox. Botox is it causes botulism. People's died from botulism. Do I want that injected into my skin? No. Because all it takes is one shot and it could go right through all of your tissue and cause you to die. Probably not right then, but you know, within a bit.
Is a vague term. Everybody looks in the mirror and wants something different. You know, you can say, I want a smaller nose, or I want bigger lips, and some girls are like, ew, why? Yours are fine. Or some girls don't like that look. Why do you work out? You obviously wouldn't be super confident have you not. You know, there's a reason why people are spending all this money on Pilates and SoulCycle and all this other stuff.
She's very beautiful. And I hope she sees herself as that.
So, I mean, it's all insecurity. It's how you go about it. You want to go to the natural route, working out, you want to go plastic, either or.
Some people wear makeup, some people wear shapewear to make themselves, you know, look slimmer or tuck in that extra roll that you might have after Thanksgiving, you know? So I think insecurities are always gonna have it. My question is, what is considered natural? Because if we keep going down that route of, you know, this
Natural. Nothing has entered into the body that caused it to be misformed. And hopefully I'm not getting on a strange tangent here, but I mean, it is what it is. If you go out there and you look like, and I'm being honest. I'm being honest, and I'm trying to, because I've seen it before, and I think I love everybody. I really do. I love everybody. I don't think of any type of harm to everybody. I think everybody's beautiful in their own way. But whenever you go out there and your face looks like somebody stepped on it and it just held that shape, it's not natural. Now, am I saying everybody has to be natural? No. Girl, work your own ways. Work your own ways. But I believe the body has to fit the body. And if you want to do what you want to do to have a good body whenever you're 50 years old or whenever you're 100 years old, God forbid everybody live that long, do it. Do it. Who's holding you back? But the thing is that how much ever you spend on yourself and do on yourself, because yes, I have surgeries that I want to go do. For one, top surgery. For number two, weight reduction surgery. Okay, yes, I do want to have plastic surgery done. But number three, FFS, facial feminizing surgery or feminizing facial surgery. Something like that. I want stuff like that. Okay, I'm also going to have bottom surgery, but that's either here nor there. And I want to talk to a couple of plastic surgery surgeons, like on my podcast and stuff like that, to see what we can do. But basically what I'm trying to say is that there are structural limits to where the outward beauty doesn't reflect the inner beauty. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say on this. But that's just me. I mean, I'm looking at it as an outsider looking to the inside. And that's what I'm looking at.
this is considered natural, and who defines what natural is, right?
I think the way that I define it is that no one would know when you walked in a room that you had anything done at all. No stigmata of plastic surgery. That's how I think over the years.
Stealthy plastic surgery.
Yeah, like did she or didn't she? So I think that
I somewhat agree with that. but I still stick with my statement I said before, where nothing has came in to modify modify the body, which is plastic surgery.
You know, if you think of it as prevention, if you think of it as self-care, if you
Maintenance.
or maintenance, you maintain your car, you maintain your house. You also, if it's important to you, you maintain your appearance.
When I think about it that way, though, in this rule of if you're thinking of something, 3 or more times in a day, maybe you should change it. There are people who
Not
deal.
change it.
Well, you should maybe see somebody or see what you can do about creating some sort of difference, alleviating that. We all feel insecurities. I'm pretty sure even now, no matter how much cosmetic surgery you receive, you're thinking of little things you can change about your body constantly. And we live in a world that really emphasizes image. Social media has really proliferated that problem. If everybody was
Social media, Hollywood, government. It's getting to where being natural is being a thing of the past, really, and not somewhat looking at the future of what's going on.
using that sort of metric as a means of change, we would constantly be changing our bodies and faces. And I think it makes us more subservient to societal standards and other people's views than we're subservient to accepting ourselves.
But if you truly accept yourself, then why wouldn't you just accept yourself? Like, why does somebody else changing their face, like, bother somebody who's happy with themselves?
Because it's the whole thing of, you see somebody else do it, you want to do it for yourself. It's like going to a car dealer or going to a Chevrolet dealer or a Ford dealer. Go and get a brand new Mustang. Driving it off the showroom floor. Leaning up next to it, having your arms up in the air like this. Somebody sees that and they're going to be like, ooh, that person just got a brand new Mustang. I need to go get a brand new Mustang. Especially whenever they have the means to. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that it's not exploiting. Well, yeah, it is exploiting. Because if you see it, you gotta have it in some people's eyes.
So I'm not bothered by the fact that people have had plastic surgery. Right. I am very close to a lot of people who've had plastic surgery. Whether it's a nose job, a boob job, those tend to be the most common in my life. I don't look at the people closest to me and go, but you changed your nose. I don't like that, and now I'm more insecure. However, when I'm in a room and I'm surrounded by
He must not live in LA. I know several people in LA and in New York that would be like, you had a nose job. Get my plastic surgeon on the phone. I'm going for a nose job.
I work with a lot of influencers, and I'll be the only girl who doesn't have a boob job, and it's the same boob job. It's the same look, and everyone has the same nose, and everyone has the same lips. And then you start to sit there and be like, is there something wrong with me? And I've had producers and I've had people tell me, oh, if your ears were pinned back, it would be a lot better. If your lips were bigger, it'd be a lot better. When you create a culture where people are constantly jumping on the beauty trend, I think that creates insecurities that wouldn't have otherwise been there. So I have no problem.
Seem like that doctor that's over there is being like, after the show, you're gonna spend some money.
And people getting plastic surgery. I have a problem in a culture that pushes the rhetoric that if you don't get certain things or don't have certain things, that there's something wrong with you.
I want to touch on that because it's about the word create. Really, I think it's take one more step back and look at why these insecurities exist in the first place. The
Exactly.
root of that is media, TV shows and models and movies and
I think and she just hit what I was supposed to say on the head. I think it all started with models that are weighing 65 pounds, tall, skinny. You're talking about like a -2 dress size, if that's a such thing, or a -5 dress size, and that's such thing. And then it's not only the females or the women that are like, that's absolutely beautiful. It's the guys too. And people hit on this, and maybe I'll do it too. The whole thing with Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn within the DC universe. She couldn't have a cheat day. She couldn't have a regular, let's go get a burger. No, it's a salad for her each night, while Ben Affleck or while John Cena or while all these other ones that did not have that role said, let's go get a steak. Let's go get a burger. Let's go get, and Margot Robbie is like a beautiful person. And in the comic books, just like in the shows in the 90s, Harley Quinn wasn't a super skinny type person. She was a normal, everyday person. She was a doctor. Yes, she worked for the Joker, but Harleen Quinzel was a person who literally was a doctor. Why are you trying to I guess what I'm trying to say is Margot in this, I guess it's medically, is Margot Robbie's metabolism to the point where, like, if she eats that burger, is she going to gain 5 pounds? Is she going to gain 30 pounds? Let a person eat. Literally.
comparing literally apples to oranges. Like every single person in the entire universe is uniquely themselves. Did insecurities exist before TVs and these competitions in whatever industry existed? I kind of don't.
I think
Yes,
so.
but in a very different way. I think it had to do with survival. I think it had to do with family. Yeah, I have this insecurity about my eyes sagging, so I'm gonna pay however many hundreds of dollars to do that, but then it's going to be maintenance. And then am I really hitting the root of the problem, or am I avoiding like what the real root is, which is this kind of need for acceptance?
In the end, genetics is just going to win on like what she hit on with the eyes sagging and everything else. Genetics is going to win on that.
It's concerning that cosmetic surgeries are normalized amongst young girls.
Yes. Yes, it is. And the reason why I say it is because you see you see our youth look up to people, and this is coming from an education spot, and I think I've said it in a video a couple of times before, where I've had youth come up to me, and I ask them, because I'm a very curious type person, and I love to start conversations with people. Hey, what are you going to do whenever you grow up? Have that same question like I had whenever I was a youth. And they come up, well, I want to be an OnlyFans model. I want to be this. I want to be that. And I'm like, you're really looking up to people like that? I mean, you're really looking up to people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think that there's more people are doing it, like the OnlyFans, more as a last resort type thing. Because do you think a normal everyday person has that? And the answer is no. Now, if you're already on like other places that do that, no, I wouldn't know nothing about that. I mean, there's different. I mean, that is another route to do what they do, get what they want to get. And I mean, it calls thirst from all sorts, whether you're a man, woman, trans, I mean, gay, it doesn't matter. Because there's a normality within that. But whenever you're not even giving a chance within life to say, okay, hey, look, I'm going to change my body for this. And it's not even really a good reason to change. And I'm not saying being like trans, because yes, being trans is a reason to change because of gender dysphoria. But what I'm talking about is that there's 3 ways that a person can change that is trans, you know, basically cosmetically, like having a haircut, makeup, you know, binder. Then you have medically, which is like pills and shots and all of this other. And then you have surgically, and I don't need to go any further.
I would consider myself a young girl. I'm 26, but also there's younger. At the end of the day, what I worry about, like Botox and things that aren't really dramatic, like you can see I have plastic surgery, but the plastic surgery you can't see is what worries me the most. And I'm a little afraid of aging, I'm not gonna lie. So when I see like celebrities, they're like in their 40s or 50s, but they look 20, 30, do I have to do all of these things and stick needles in my face to maintain my youth? And that's what scares me the most.
So what, if you can share, what surgeries or what procedures did you go through yourself?
Yeah, I had 2 BBLs and 2 breast augmentations, and those are kind of like more dramatic ones, so you can like see that I did it. And I also am very open about it. I think it's very harmful if you try to hide it.
For me, I'm not a big drinker. I don't smoke.
I'm just going to say it like this. You're not hiding it. You're not hiding it. And I'm not trying to be toxic, but you're not hiding it by no means. But in all actuality, if you're open with it, then fine. If you're not open with it, I mean, who cares? And I guess I'm getting into that conservative thing, but if I'm looking for love, I'm not looking for whether you've had a surgery or whether you had 25 surgeries. I'm looking at the person within the person. I'm looking at, hey, do we get along? Hey, do we do this together? Good. It's not everything's about surgery, or you don't have to keep up with the Kardashians, or you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Be yourself.
I don't do drugs. I regularly exercise. My elders who have aged well without plastic surgery, that was the lifestyle they lived. I've met so many young girls who have zero care about the toxic lifestyle they're living, because if I don't age well, I'll just like get it fixed. It does target young girls to not care about consequences because instant gratification, and I'm not saying that's what plastic surgery always is, but I do think that when we already have this culture of instant gratification, it's only amplified by telling them that you can just get whatever fixed later.
For example, on Halloween, there's this little girl, she has to be a toddler, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and she has the little pole for the IV, and she has like a fake, you know, gauze and everything, and she's showing that she got a BBL. Yeah. When I see a little girl who's mimicking someone getting a BBL, I'm like, okay, well, she's 5. What are you doing mimicking a BBL?
She doesn't even know what her body's gonna look like yet.
That's super toxic, and y'all are talking about, and the government's talking about trans people. That's super toxic. Somebody get somebody on the phone and get them on cosmetic industries.
Really scary. I do have a question for you ladies, right? Because you're very Jessica Rabbit-esque, and I say that in a good way because I love Jessica Rabbit. Like you're.
Who doesn't like Jessica Rabbit though? I love Jessica Rabbit, but it matches the body type. It's not like you're having watermelons off of a pea vine.
You've both clearly had plastic surgery, and
What?
you
How
both
dare
have. Like I actually came out like this at 14.
Sorry, you came out earlier in the show as being part of people that had plastic surgery. So why are you?
I look natural. But both of you have mentioned having it young. Do you feel like you were too young when you made the decision?
For me, absolutely, because I started getting work done around like 16, 17.
You were a baby.
Yeah, but the thing was that I was a dancer in clubs. I was looking at other older girls where they had that very.
Hold up. A dancer in the clubs at 16. A dancer at a club at 16.
Ba ba boom body, and I wanted that ba 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 boom body too. You know, they had the big boobs, they had the, you know, they were making all the money. And when I started dancing, I was 18 years old, you know, so I started doing Botox. Then I did a nose job, and then I did this. I shouldn't have been thinking about that at 18, you know. Who's to blame for that? That's obviously a different discussion.
When I was 18, I got my first boob job.
Not a different discussion. It's this discussion. You know, the old saying is young, dumb, and full of, I'm not going to say the ending word of that because it's derogatory and it's different. But the thing is that whenever you're 18 years old, your body hasn't, and the doctor over here that does plastic surgery says that your body didn't even stop forming until the age of 25. So why would you want to change your body at that point in time? I could see because I've had friends, and hopefully she comments up under, if she sees us, she comments up under the video. I know of a person that was here in the state of Texas that I went to school with, and basically she had to have surgery, but it was different. Instead of putting it on, she took it off because she complained that her back hurt. Her back keeps on hurting. And I understand something like that. Is that normalized? No. That's preventative, because coming from a person that's had back surgery, those back surgeries not too cheap. And it takes you at least a year to get moving around in the right way.
Job. I was going to compete in bodybuilding. Fitness was always a passion of mine before getting all the plastic surgery. And I thought I had to get implants to kind of like proportionately even out the rest of my body. I was getting like flat chested from the muscles and the chest days. And honestly, I don't regret anything I've done. I'm very happy and confident in what I've done to my body. I don't think I was too young to make the decision. I've stayed true to how I feel about what I've done and like my own personal decision, but I don't want it to affect young girls, so that's why I remain transparent about everything.
You think about the entrance of social media into civil society, and now I'll scroll through TikTok and it's like, are you a cat girl or a bunny girl? What type of pretty are you? Are you slim bodied? Are you BBL bodied? Do you have A cups? Do you have B cups? And it's just people who are really funneling girls down this path of wanting a specific body type, whatever the body type may be, and trends flow in and out. And then I'm seeing young girls who are saying, I'm going to the clinic to get preventative Botox. It's not that I even have wrinkles now, I want to prevent wrinkles down the line. Or I'm getting filler because Kylie Jenner has it, or a ponytail facelift.
I didn't want to say the name.
Yeah, right. Or they're even like, they're risking pulmonary embolism to get a BBL and all these different things. So
I went to a school that we had a lot of very privileged kids, and as soon as they were 18, I know multiple girls that got gifted, what procedure or surgery would you like? And that's insane to me.
As a mom, I'm just gonna say, but we need to teach our girls that your jewelry is your mind. Your jewelry is what you do for other people. It's not what you look like, and if you lose that, then you have, I had a patient actually who told me if I don't have my face, I have nothing. And I was like, well, maybe you should go back to school and find your something and find your purpose, because you can't.
And okay, I stopped it here for a reason. Absolutely correct. The thing is that once beauty decides to leave a person, guess what? It ain't going to be there ever again. And you shouldn't expect beauty to be there forever. You should be, you should have your own stuff. If your face is all that you have, then by all means, go get something else done. Go to college, go to university, go start you a YouTube. That way people start seeing you do other things. And they're like, this person's talented. It's not because they're beautiful, but they're talented.
can't put all your eggs in the beauty basket. Does that mean that beauty doesn't matter? No, there was a 60-minute special, I swear, 20 years ago that talked about how we are all inherently programmed to appreciate beauty. You know, they brought a teacher in front of a class of kindergarten kids, and she was an actress. She was dressed disheveled, and she gave that talk, a lesson to the kindergarten kids. They took the same person backstage, put her in a different outfit, fixed her hair in a ponytail so she looked less disheveled. She went out in the same tone of voice, same everything, gave the same lesson.
Yeah.
They asked the students, which teacher did you like better? They said the second one. They said, why? They said, because she's nicer.
Wow.
So we can't deny that
Yeah.
beauty matters, and we're programmed to appreciate beauty, but that doesn't mean you put all your eggs in that basket, or that you teach your children to say that if I'm not beautiful in this standard that is current right now in this trend, then I'm worth nothing.
I think to hit on what she was saying is that beauty shouldn't be normalized in the schools whatsoever. Even with teachers or anything, and I've heard, because I get on TikTok, and believe me, I talk to people, and people put different videos out. There's some stuff where it's like, because you did not put on makeup, and you didn't do this, and you look like this, you're getting wrote off. What the hell? What the hell? For one, it's minimalist makeup, to where you don't look like you have makeup on. And as long as the kids are being taught, why should you care what they look like? Why? I mean, that's counter programming there.
I think because I'm 23 and I grew up with it, and I was the youth, you know, in the social media looking at, you know, the Kardashians, and I was young, and I think I'm fine nowadays. Encourage support, encourage acceptance, like things like that, yeah, but you can look, you know, we have mirrors, we have eyes. Like, your mom can tell you in your ear, you're the most beautiful girl in the world all day long, but if you're not treated like that at school, if you don't feel that way, you can see more attractive people on a daily basis, you can look in the mirror and see what you don't like about yourself. That's all gonna go in one ear, out through the other. We keep just going back to this, like, is it a little more heightened with social media? Sure, but at the same time, like, a 13-year-old's algorithm isn't only girls with, you know, fillers. Like, and I think what you were saying, it all goes back to the moms. Like, when I was a kid and I would, oh my gosh, that model is so beautiful. My mom, the first thing she'd be like, that girl does not look like that. She has all these fillers, all these face. Like, my mom's best friend was a makeup artist in New York City, and he was like, are you kidding? Like, none of these people look like that in real life. So I was just always well aware of that at a young age, and, you know, having access to fillers, I would see girls, I would be able to spot the filler on a person, you know, or in filters. So I would know that these Instagram models were fake, and there were, you know, if you have Facetune, you know when a girl's Facetune. So it's like, you know it's fake, so I don't understand.
I think
where
a lot
that
of people
comes in.
don't know it's
A lot
fake.
I think if we're going to judge it based on an issue for young kids in particular, the less that you're able to see the plastic surgery, the more of an issue it becomes, because they're seeing these individuals and thinking nothing has happened, and thinking that this is a beauty standard that this person achieved naturally because they can't really detect it with their eyes. And we sort of, I think, all grew up in an age where we didn't have social media, and then suddenly we did. We have to think about, like, Gen Alpha, who is growing up in a world right now where social media is the standard. They've never not known the internet. So if you have these imperceivable plastic surgery and cosmetic changes that kids are taking on, they're thinking that's a natural.
I mean, I kind of have. Like, I had Instagram at like 10 years old. Like, I was on the internet, you know, before that.
Right.
And
but you watch the rise of filters, you watch the rise of Facetune, which makes you more attuned to be able to detect these things.
yeah.
Because filters used to be so funny. Like, if we can go back to the dawn of Instagram.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Do you think that us as professionals in plastic surgery, if we put out more informational factoids about how to tell, like, oh, for example, somebody brought up the fitness influencers saying that I did squats, but they really had a BBL. Like, I went on maybe 3 years ago on my social media and said, you guys, if somebody doesn't have a hip dip, they had a BBL.
Yes.
So do you think that
Absolutely,
as you know, professionals, if we came out, we gave
Totally.
the younger generations the tips to be able to tell someone's had something done, would that be helpful
help
for
for sure. I would.
No, it wouldn't help, because then it's gonna be something that it's gonna be like, ooh, well, they're not doing squats. I don't have to do squats. And guess what? I'm gonna go have plastic surgery done. I mean, it's that same ordeal that you're dealing with all over again. You can have as many factoids as you want, if you want to call them that. You can have as many factoids as you want, but in the end, it's going to be like, they have it done. I'm going to go get it done. I want to look just like them. And what is that going to do? Then you got somebody in your office that's wanting this done, this done, this done, this done. I say, instead of, you're normalizing it then. But instead of putting all these factoids out, try to discourage the normalization of cosmetic surgeries towards the kids, and be like, hey, look, it's, you know, later on, 24, 25, yeah, do it. Whatever you want to do. 30, do it. 40, do it. 50, do it. 60, do it. I don't care. But then be like, okay, we gotta wait. Gotta see what we're doing first. If you want to change something, that's fine, that you see that is wrong with yourself, and that is going to cause you body dysphoria or gender dysphoria or stuff like that. But whenever it's like normalized among younger people, whether it be girls or guys, it really hurts the generations. Because then what are we going to do 25 years from now? What are we going to do? It's going to be, you already seen one of these grown-ups here saying that she was a dancer at 16. A freaking dancer at 16. It doesn't matter what type of dancer she is. She was a dancer at 16. What are we going to do about this 20, 25 years down the road? 50 years down the road? 100 years down the road? Is it going to be to where you're like 5 years old and be like, oh, I don't like my nose, and then just go to one of these cosmetic surgeons and be like, hey, I want a thinner nose? And at 5 years old, get a surgery? Ain't that's negligence, that's abuse. I think we should be getting away from this and not normalizing it, but putting out, hey, don't do it. You know, kind of like the smoking commercials and the dipping commercials and stuff like that. You know, how And everybody knows that Truth Social wasn't about just Donald Trump and the Republican. It started off as a non-smoking, non-dipping, non-tobacco, and I think a non-alcoholic place. They had where it would be like just different commercials. It would be Truth Social and stuff like that. It didn't turn MAGA until later on. But have something like that towards the cosmetic industry. Or develop I was going to say develop a serum that, yes, it puffs out for a little bit, but then after a little while it just deflates. That way, you know, you go in so many times, you get it puffed up, you're going to be like, okay, why am I spending money on this? And just not do it again. But the thing is that teaches them the wrong way, but not normalizing it and discouraging younger people, the younger generation, Gen Alpha and stuff like that, from doing stuff like this. I guess that's where the key is at.
I personally love that.
I have a question for the plastic surgery side. If you're planning on having children, if you have children, what is that conversation about cosmetic surgery going to look like with them if at a young age they come to you and say, I'm really interested in this, or, you know, I'd like to get this procedure done when I'm old enough?
Totally.
I think for me it would be honestly how I would tell anyone, right? This is your decision. I think with the little education that I do know, I would definitely make sure they understand that, you know, there's pros and cons to it, right? You're not gonna just wake up and be totally happy that you did something and that's it, right? There might be, now you see that you're gaining weight, so you're, oh, okay, maybe I'll just do BBL now, you know, or maybe I'll do this, etc. I think it'll be very important to let them make that decision, but give them the best education as you can, and then obviously get a professional that can help you with that. I don't know if I can tell anyone to not do something. I could only give them my advice and my experience, and I think it'll be hypocritical for me to say, hey, listen, you shouldn't do this. I don't agree with it when I was 18, you know, getting a nose job.
I think I have a shitty answer, but I don't really care. I think I'm just gonna give them the honest feedback I would give anybody. Like, I'm sorry, I'm sure my daughter is gonna be the most beautiful girl in the world, whatever. If her nose is really bad and she's really insecure about it at a young age, and she comes to me, and we have the financial means to do so, I probably would be the parent, like, hey girl, like, get your nose done for graduation before you go to college. I know that sounds really shitty.
No,
but like,
it doesn't. It's
that's
real.
a shitty feeling, like looking in the mirror.
On the eve of having one side saying trans surgeries are bad, and as I'm recording this, the Republican and I guess we are going to be doing the Jubilee Republican versus Democrat. But the thing is that we are on the edge of, having the trans surgeries and having all of this other and you're wanting to put a nose job on a kid whenever they have to be 18 years old to even think about having anything to deal with being trans. This makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. And I'm being truthful because I want people to think about this. You're just, if you have the means, I'm just going to hand you the $20 or the 20 grand to go have your surgery. It makes no sense, guys. It makes no sense. As a person that I don't like my face, I don't like my body, I don't like my legs. It doesn't make sense to where you're going to be like, oh, you're 12 and I'm just going to hand you 20 grand because you don't feel right about your nose. It does not make sense whatsoever.
I'm like crying all the time about your face. You don't like your nose. You don't like whatever it is. Like I know a girl who got a chin implant, changed her whole face, like crazy. Had such more yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, am I going to be like, listen, you're doing a big thing. We're going to get educated. We're going to the best doctors. We're going to figure it out. And if I have the financial means.
How come she sounds like the female version of Donald Trump? We're going to go to the best doctors and have the best visit, and we're going to have the best everything.
To do so correctly, hell yeah.
I think also what's the purpose you're doing it for, and who you're doing it for, because people end up doing plastic surgery for boys. So I think it's very important to ask too, what's the reason for you doing it?
And we do that, and it's very important for the surgeon to also ask. I have it on my questionnaire, my intake form. Has anyone told you should do this?
Yeah.
Has anyone made you feel bad about this area? Mental health questions. I think, as it is for a mom to ask their child, it's also very important as us as the gatekeepers to also make sure they're doing it for the right reasons.
Honestly, I didn't have too much to add to the topic because I agree with both of them in the same vein. And I don't plan to have kids, but I do plan to be a role model for younger girls, nieces, nephews, nieces. And I would just honestly do the same thing that Giselle would, just educate them. I wouldn't judge them. I would teach them about their self-worth, doing things a natural way first. And, just
let it not be your default.
Yes, the natural way first. That is the way that you should be doing it first. I mean, yes, I don't look good. I know this. As a person, I know I don't look good. Did I whenever I was younger? No. But the thing is I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not going to shame anybody. If you're going to do it, do it. Get it done. Love yourself. But don't go around and flaunt it towards everybody. Every one of these women that is on this stage are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The natural ones, the ones that had the cosmetic stuff done. But the thing is that you're gonna sit there and give it to children? No. If I see it happening, it's a CPS case that's gonna be done. And I'm just being serious because that is the. I go back to having trans surgeries. That's just like having trans surgeries. You're taking a body part and morphing it. But yet these women probably see the normalization of this and also vote way differently than I do.
Yeah, exactly. Not just going straight to surgery.
We are trending towards a future where natural beauty will no longer exist.
Yes. That's what it is. Natural and this is going for the past couple of things. Natural beauty is not going to exist because people start seeing it in TikToks and YouTube videos, and I mean just everything. Now, if it's something that I mean, like what was talked about first, a cliff palate, like somebody had a motorcycle accident and had no nose, I would say, hey, look, go do it. But if you're sit there and you're already beautiful, you want to have a minor adjustment, go ahead. But if you're going to want a whole new face, you go in there, let's say you look like this girl in the center, and you go in there, and I know this is a bad representation of this woman because this woman's absolutely beautiful. Like I said, every one of them that's on this stage is absolutely beautiful. But the thing is, you go in there looking like this person in the middle or even on the edge and say, hey, look, I want to look like Angelina Jolie in her 20s. I'm sorry. Why? Why would you want to be like that? Why would you want to be? And I guess this is the reasoning back behind what I'm saying, is that look at it this way. You're not being yourself. You're being somebody else.
I'm thinking way ahead into the future. I'm thinking social media is going to grow quite a bit. Our beauty trends are going to change. AI is going to integrate with medicine, and that's going to change beauty and how easy it is to go and receive these surgeries. So, yeah, in a lot of ways, I think the trend is definitely not towards what's natural. As human civilization is trending altogether towards what's unnatural, and I think that will apply to beauty as well. It makes me sad to think that we live in a society that doesn't want to see people age normally. And I say that as somebody who deals with insecurities myself. I don't know that when I'm 50, like what my face is going to look like and how I'm going to look in the mirror and how I'm going to perceive myself. But I would hope that I've fortified this sort of philosophical idea that I have about beauty so much that I won't feel the need to change myself in any way. Young people,
I absolutely agree with her there.
old people, everybody's going to be engaging in this practice, even men, as we're seeing them sort of get into plastic surgery now as well. It's strange to me to think that we're not going to see what people were actually meant to look like.
Do you ever feel tempted to get a procedure done yourself with all this pressure and societal pressure?
Not with all the thought that I've put into it, but I can say from the moment I was able to perceive myself and perceive insecurity, I felt it. I can't tell you how many times when I was a teenager I thought, oh, let's just get a rhinoplasty. Let's just slope the nose a little bit and fix it.
Get a little button.
Yeah, the more I've thought about it though, the more I'm thinking, I really want to know what I look like when I'm 70, 80, and like what I was supposed to look like. And I want to experience life and experience the wear and tear that puts on the body. So I don't think so.
For me, like when COVID hit and we had to shut down our offices for 2 months and I wasn't doing things to myself, I was looking in the mirror, I was like, holy shit, is that what I actually look like?
Right.
I ran to the office, grabbed a couple boxes of filler, brought it home and started shooting myself up in the face. I'm like, restore, restore, restore. So I think it's really honest, you know, to say that you don't know how you're gonna perceive yourself when you're 50. You're probably still gonna be gorgeous and great, but you know, you never know. And I think it's good to leave that door open. You know, it's armamentarium in a toolbox. But for me, I think that what's gonna happen is it's gonna become so accessible. Imagine you go to Rite Aid and there's a machine that scans your face, does an ultrasound, knows exactly the level of your thickness of your skin, knows where your muscles are. It generates a hyaluronic acid / Botox mask with, you know, little, not needles in it, but the hyaluronic acid is shaped as needles. You put it on your face and you press. You've just delivered Botox to your face, you've delivered hyaluronic acid filler to your face, and it's gonna become that accessible.
Natural
Wait, is this
beauty?
something you know is coming?
I think that this is where
She already
we're headed.
planned it.
You know what I mean?
Can I invest?
Didn't that intrigue you a little bit? So I think when it becomes that easy and affordable and accessible, then yeah, people are gonna say, heck, why not? Why shouldn't I do a little skin booster?
Yeah. I completely understand, like I use a collagen booster in my coffee. I'm going to continue drinking my collagen. I also take a calcium supplement because I know I'll stop building reserves in a few years, right? Surgery is much more my concern. I have a very Slavic nose, and it's very specific in
There's a point where I can understand the collagen and the coffee and taking calcium tablets because of this and that. I can take vitamins, take a multivitamin. I can understand that. But whenever you're offering surgeries to minors that don't need it, whether it be in a natural, like just doing it minor or what, it doesn't need to be done. You know, you look at it this way of, it's like what I said earlier, discourage. So yeah, will natural beauty no longer exist? Yeah, as long as we go down this road to where, hey, look, gotta have a nose like Tyra Banks, or gotta have a mouth like Kim Kardashian, or gotta have this to do this. We shouldn't be wanting that because we should be ourselves.
in my head. I hated it for the longest time. I wanted the little button Western European nose. It's what I wanted. And it took me a long time to be like, no, this is the same nose that like my grandparent or my grandpa came over with from the Czech Republic. And I think we start losing that, and I think we start losing a lot of individual cultural beauty in order to fit whatever aesthetic is being pushed.
I think again, we're talking about two different things.
Yes. It seems like nowadays they're pushing aesthetics and they're pushing fake beauty towards a natural beauty that came from generations upon generations.
You're talking about changing beauty standards. I'm talking about staying youthful looking like you,
Yeah.
but looking your best for as long as possible.
But that doesn't concern me, that doesn't concern me in terms of losing natural beauty, because to me, natural beauty a lot is a lot of whatever your ethnic group's beauty is, like beauty within your ethnic features, because that includes body types, right? When we start pushing people to change, you're erasing the beauty that can be found within their natural phenotypical expression.
Just so you know, though, in the plastic surgery world,
Yeah.
we have books on ethnic noses. We have
Yeah.
books on ethnic breath. Like we have books on this stuff to keep people within their.
To try and mitigate
Yeah.
the erasure kind of thing.
No, it's we don't even think of it as erasure, but just like respecting that person's anatomy and phenotype and just optimizing it for them.
How is that being done whenever you have beauty results, people wanting a Kardashian style or Paris Hilton style or this style or that style, and it's being pushed to where it's like, hey, look, you know, what, you know, this is bull. This is bull.
I think especially in an economy, people can't even afford groceries right now. Some people can't afford to put gas in their car. I don't think we're literally anywhere near where everyone is going to have lip filler and have a nose job. I don't see everybody, you know, running to get lip filler like where I'm from. I just, because
But
everybody
it is
has-
getting more accessible. What would that look
accessible,
like?
yes, but I don't think natural beauty is gonna go away 100%. So perfect example, I mean, yes, that sounds really cool, what you were saying. Like the sheet, you scan your face, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's always gonna be like the cheaper, riskier alternative. I've had friends be like, oh my God, my friend's becoming an NP, like she'll do your things for free, and I'm like, I'm good.
But that's
like,
your standard, right?
Yeah,
I love it.
but
I've
said the same thing
It'll
about,
be
say,
more-
electronic vehicles. People thought, oh, the rich are only going to have those. It's never going to trickle down to normal people. Or the iPhone, smartphones. People thought only rich people would have access to those. But as we
But it'll
develop,
be more accessible, but I don't think everyone's gonna do it. It's always more annoying to get things done. It's more
If it's pushed, it's going to be pushed and it's going to be done. Why did you have the surgeries that you had? Why did she have the surgeries that she had? Was it a life or death situation? No. You was pushed.
more effort to get things done than it is to not, and most people are lazy and most people don't want to spend the money.
I feel like if we look at something like braces, right? Braces are mostly aesthetic. And at one point, nobody got braces. Now everyone's like, I personally haven't had braces. So like purely by luck,
You're
I
saying
never
it's
needed
now so
them.
normal.
It's
for
now
people
so
to
normal
have
though that people are
braces.
very surprised when I'm like, nope, didn't have them. And I feel like we are moving in that direction. Like when I say I don't have tattoos, a lot of people are really surprised. I don't actually have my ears pierced. A lot of people are really surprised. All of these things, all these alterations, they do become so normal. And I'm not obviously not condemning anyone with tattoos or piercings or with plastic
I
surgery
think
for
there's
that
too
matter.
many to go down that
But-
rabbit hole. I don't think insurance is going to cover like Botox, and like I think there's too many elements to that. Like braces, insurance came in and helped with that. There's a lot of other things.
I
that go
think
into
they're
it.
not
that's a fair
thinking
point.
far enough into the future about how easily it's going to be. Like we're using examples of like filler and Botox. These might not even be within the realm of cosmetic surgery 50 years down the line once we've made advancements. When we're talking about the accessibility, we're going to be talking about very qualified plastic surgeons like Sheila, who are giving these procedures to normal people. And it's not necessarily that all natural beauty is going to be erased and nobody's going to have the face that they were born with.
Yeah.
It's just to say, is the rate of intervention when it comes to beauty going to be higher than those
100%.
staying natural?
So how do you all feel about the fact that a lot of people are going through procedures to specifically like get rid of certain ethnic features they have, or to maybe even look like another race?
As an Asian woman,
The whole Michael Jackson thing. It's what they're talking about. I was fixing to bring it up, but I mean, I think Michael was actually pushed in that general vicinity of, you know, what he had to look like, who he had to be like, and stuff like that. And basically, I kind of wish that it wasn't that way.
I'm naturally thin, I have no curves like I mentioned before, and obviously this beauty standard of having curves comes from African American and Spanish culture, and I admit it and I appreciate it. I don't think it's a bad thing, I don't think it's inherently bad, I think it's just different.
Yeah, a lot of people would talk about white supremacy or Eurocentrism, but with BBL culture now, like you said, that's Latin and African American. A lot of people are going in to get plastic surgery on their eyes to look more East Asian. With noses, we typically tend to fall into this more Eurocentric standard. But also a good plastic surgeon, in my opinion, would look at your ethnic features and would think about preserving them and would be more focused on an idea of symmetry than erasing what is something that is typical for your ethnicity.
I totally agree with you, and I will tell you,
Symmetry is a good thing. I mean, yes. But with the way that it's been pressed, I mean, it's you ain't gonna have people that's going for something that's symmetry stuff like that. They're going to go for, like I said earlier, Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, and all these other ones.
don't speak for all plastic surgeons, but we have books on, how to preserve ethnic beauty. Asian grandparents, when there's an Asian baby, will massage their nose to try to give them a bridge. A lot of Asian women will go in and actually have cartilage inserted to give them a bridge. Where do you draw the line?
I know about like the eyelid thing.
The double
too.
eyelids,
Eyelid.
yeah. And sometimes I've heard from Asian patients, like, I can't wear glasses because I have no bridge. Like, it'll literally slide off. Like, if I don't do something, I'm gonna have to go get an eye surgery instead to get LASIK, so then I won't need the glasses anymore. So again, I think we shouldn't just say line in the sand no, and we shouldn't say line in the sand yes, and it's really more nuanced again.
I was made fun of for like not being able to see, open your eyes, and now everyone's like, oh, I'm getting the fox eye, I'm getting this, and they're not admitting where it actually comes from. And that's why I like to give credit where credit is due.
Does that bother you, by the way, that people are?
Oh yeah, I'm like, just call it what it is.
If you won't acknowledge where things come from, like, and you're just gonna hop on any trend that follows, like, oh my God, like, those type of eyes are in, I'm going on, oh my God, like, big butts are in, I'm gonna go on that, like, then you're just dumb. Like, you have to follow what you like more. Like, for some reason, I've never been inclined to get a boob job. A lot of my friends have one. It's just like, that's not the look I like. I think we are in a generation where everyone's like so coddled and like so nervous, like, oh my God, I have to look this way, and it's like, you don't look that way. So if you either change it when you get older, you don't, I don't know. That just sounds like a little harsh.
What would you
but-
say motivated you towards your procedures?
So I've just gotten my lips done, I mean, just because I wanted bigger lips, I had like no upper lip before. Even as a kid, when I was like playing with my mom, like our family's makeup, like my cousins and I, my cousin would be like, damn, you have no upper lip. And like, I'm Hispanic, I'm Cuban and Dominican, and I have like no lips, you know what I mean? Which is not really the standard. Who doesn't want some face symmetry? Who doesn't want an upper lip? Like little things like that. I mean, I'm a little overdue for Botox. I go into tanning beds a little too much.
Please don't do
And
that.
just because
I know, I'm sorry, everyone hates me for it, but
I don't say just because you do something as well doesn't mean that you're trying to mimic another culture as well.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
Back in the day, having big breasts was our Caucasian thing, right? It was more we were the booty, Caucasian was more getting the boobs,
Yeah.
the Pamela Anderson boobs. And just because you get lips, it doesn't mean that you're trying to be black or any of those, I think, stereotypes. And if you get your nose done as someone who's Puerto Rican, and they look at me and they're like, okay, well, what you didn't like your nose before? No, because I just wanted it done.
I don't know why
Now, if
it's
your
even come to
intention is
that.
to look like another race, I think that's a different conversation.
Yeah, and I just think that's weird. I don't think anybody's really looking in the mirror being like, I'm doing this because I want to look like a different race. It just happens to be a feature that is usually stigmatized towards a certain
Some people
race.
are, though. Some people are trying to look like elves.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the way I look. Will the agreeers please step forward?
Before they talk, everybody should love how they look. I know that I said earlier that I didn't like my face, I didn't like my body, but that doesn't mean that I don't love the way I look because I look like me. It's just that, am I wanting to change my features to be someone else or something else? And is those features to the point of is the features, if you don't get them, is it going to kill you? I think that's the question I would be asking, not the question that they have, but everybody loves the way that they look. Yes, there's some minor ups, minor downs, but for one, I like my eyes, but I don't like the chubbiness of my face. I don't like how my diabetes makes the, my sores well, not sores, but like whenever I get like a razor cut or something like that, it sticks there for months and months at a time. But I mean, it is what it is.
I came to this country when I was 7 on the back of a pickup truck. My parents wouldn't let me wax my mustache, shave my legs. They're like, who are you shaving your legs for? I was super skinny. I think I was like 90 pounds. Didn't have my first real boyfriend until probably med school. It was a journey for me. I didn't get my confidence because of how I look. I had my confidence because of what my mom told me. My mom always told me, you're so beautiful, you're so smart, you have so much to offer. And so I think I took a journey like this to loving how I look.
How much of like your procedures do you feel makes you love the way you look?
It doesn't matter as much to me because I have done so many other things that I gain confidence from. My confidence comes from my core values and on the inside, but I'm able to also be artistic. And I love to sculpt in the past, and I love to draw in the past, and now I get to do that on humans and make them feel great.
So what procedures have you done on yourself?
So the first 2 procedures that I started with were Botox and filler. Filler in my temples, under eyes, laugh lines, lips, marionette lines, and my entire jawline. Botox and my bunny lines here, 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 and my masseters, because I also get lockjaw if I don't, because I clench all the time.
I would love to get some things done, have a little more money in the bank. Obviously, nobody loves themselves 100% when they look in the mirror. I mean, maybe you do, but.
Because you only had 1 procedure, right? It was just the lips.
Yeah, just
How
the
much do
lips,
you
and
think
I've had Botox. Well, Botox,
Okay.
it literally makes your face look so much clear. I don't know how to explain it, so.
Like filters you.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it goes away, so I don't have it right now, and then all my hair is fake. Something happened in college, and literally all my hair fell out, and it was like, my hair was like so much of my beauty. It was like my identity, and I spend so much money on like K-tips.
Do you think that you would be sitting here right now as an agreeer, I love the way I look, if you didn't have these procedures done?
No.
Here's something, and why ain't you gone to a doctor to find out? You say that you don't know why your hair fell out. You don't know why this did this. You don't know why that did that. Have you went to a doctor? Have you gotten those tests? Because if your hair, just like if my hair was to fall out tomorrow, you can about bet that I would be going to not only the ER, but I would go to a PCP, I would go to a person that deals with hair, I would be going to an endocrinologist, I would be going to all these different specialists to find out why my hair fell out. Instead of buying different things just because you don't want to find out. Could be cancer. It could be, it could be different things. Why don't you find out?
I personally have never been more confident in my entire life. And it's a little bit of a problematic statement because technically it is a mental issue that maybe I could have gone to therapy for and not done the bodily changes. It would be irresponsible for me not to acknowledge that. But at the end of the day, I make money off my looks, and I've always loved the fake, exaggerated look. It's always what I wanted and admired for myself. I'm very happy with how I look now.
I also recognize that a lot of my stance comes from a place of privilege, because like I said, never had to have braces. Like, I didn't really have to do a lot to be conventionally passing as attractive. You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of existed, and I was like, ah, thanks, guys.
Fair enough. Yeah, I hesitated walking up because I feel like if I was going to put it into perfect words, it's that I fall in and out of love with the way that I look on any given day.
Yeah.
And I think everybody experiences that.
Yeah.
But I've been sort of training my brain as I'm developing, growing into myself to care more about being healthy and having health. I feel like that exudes beauty in a lot of different ways. And knowing that the moments where you do not love yourself are not really founded in reality. There's just something that we're creating for ourselves, or society is creating, or social media is creating, that don't need to be listened to as much as we're listening to it currently. So that's why I walked forward, because I do feel at the end of the day it's all love, and like the whispers that we get that aren't love are not to be listened to.
I absolutely agree.
It's a spectrum every day, all the time, throughout each day. I'm extremely judgmental on myself and just the entire world, and my worst critic. I'm super like perfectionist, even though I absolutely know that there is no such thing as perfection. I can't say that like I look at myself and I'm like, yes, no. I'm always nitpicking at myself on a mental, physical, emotional aspect. I definitely think that I put judgment on the way I look from unresolved trauma that happened, and it's this weird mirroring effect that I have, but I still haven't like had a day where it's like 100%, I love myself 100%. I love that I know that I'm in control of my progress and of the fact that life is just a process.
My whole family we had like big chins, right? So that was one of the things, like one of the first things like I kind of shaved down, because we just all have the chin. I've done a facelift, I've done my nose, I've done my lips, obviously, my forehead, I've done my body, obviously.
Gotcha.
And then I do maintenance, right? So I do my Botox, I do my fillers. There's times where I'm like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch. And then there's times where I'm like, oh my God, I feel too fat. You know, I've struggled with weight all my life. I don't think we'll get the stuff that we had done if we were truly, truly happy with what we saw in the mirror.
My whole thing is, how much did that cost you? How much did that cost you? Did that cost you where you could have a brand new car? Did that cost you to where you could have 5 brand new cars? And how much is it? And I'm not trying to do anything to the point where I'm like, okay, hey, look, did you pay for it? Or did somebody else pay for it? Because I have this whole thing. I'll feed you. I'll help, I'll help you out. If I have a bed open, you're more than happy to take the bed. But if I'm having to buy your alcohol, or if I'm having to buy this for you or that for you, and supporting your specials, no, I can't even afford my surgeries. How am I gonna afford yours?
That's just my opinion.
Do you feel like, though, because of, the procedures that you did, that you do love the way you look more?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the reason why we do our teeth and we do those things, because we didn't like what we saw, whether you want more pronounced nose or whatever you want. If you're going to use those things to change yourself, to be happy and to love yourself, do it, but also know that. And I'm only talking about visually, because if we go down the mental health thing, then that's like a total different topic. But visually, I feel like if we were happy or really loved the way we look, we wouldn't do the things that we've done.
I guess she said it right there. I mean, here's the point where what I'm trying to make. We have deficiencies, we have all of this. We get it straightened. But to go as far as, the mental side of things, wanting to, there was a movie a long time ago. Ron Perlman had it. Movie was called Hellboy. It was the first one. I think it was the first one. Well, anyway, yeah, it was the first one because it was discussing the the beginning of Hellboy, and the person who I don't know what the guy's name was, but the person who did it was basically, if he unwrapped himself, he was full of dirt, and his heart was a timepiece and stuff like that. And basically, he would do surgery on himself. This is what this generation's looking at like. It's like, oh yeah, I don't like the way that I look, so I'm just going to change my head. Here goes another movie reference. The second Oz film, The Wizard of Oz, the second one, basically had that same type of premise, because the lady was like, "Oh, get me my mean head," and they would switch the mean head around, or they would switch to the mean head. It's the same premise as what we're seeing right here. And you're like, is it really? My question is it mental health, or is it truly what you want and what you need?
Men are more attracted to natural beauty.
Yes. Natural beauty is, I would say that. I would say that. But there is some guys that are not attracted to natural beauty, that is attracted to people that has bigger breasts and bigger butts and slimmer thighs and the whole skinniness. I would say is a whole put on type thing, but I've actually seen it.
Wow, I just built the most amazing workflow on Monday.com.
You build your own workflow? Why?
I do Instagram, social media, and adult content creation, and I find that my look is very niche. I don't appeal to the masses, for sure. I get a lot of comments trolling me, disgusting BBL, go get a refund, you look like you're wearing a diaper type stuff. So I feel like there are men that still, most of the men do appreciate natural beauties. Even if it's like, they don't know that they got work done too.
That's why I'm here.
That's I was same thing. I'll let you go first.
So I think men have no clue what's natural and what's not. I was going to do a show for E, and for a year I operated on this African-American, very well-known human, and on her social media, literally everybody's like, that's what a natural beauty looks like, and there's not 1 inch on her body that I did not operate on. I think they appreciate a natural result. But they don't want your skin falling off your skeleton. They don't want your boobs down to here. And sometimes, honestly, they don't even notice that. They're just happy to be intimate.
Yeah, I was thinking something very similar to you.
Because, and I'll say it like this is another type of video that hopefully Jubilee will come out with, because we've seen a constant uprising with this type, and it's more of, women shaming guys because they don't make enough money, or women shaming this, women shaming that, or men shaming this, men shaming that. We see this constantly within the Republican side, where they're trying to go back to a 1950s type house, where the women's supposed to obey the men and so on and so forth. And yes, I'm making it political, but in all actuality, there's a lot of shaming going on. Yes, and I'll be the first one to tell you. I don't care whether a person has natural beauty or whether it's been worked on, whether it's been uh, they've had Botox, and this goes for women and guys. But Botox, whatever, fillers, and whatever this, whatever that, I don't care. As long as they consider themselves beautiful inside and out. That's my primarily thing that I go for. But the cue is men are more attracted to natural beauty. Men are just attracted, well, straight men are just attracted to women. Bi people are attracted to everyone. You do have to meet their qualifications, but yeah. I mean, it's not just natural beauty, it's beauty no matter what. Because maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but you go and put no, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You go to these sexual shops, you can go get a doll. Is a man going to put his thing in the doll? You bet he is. Because it's the fantasization of what it would be like. That's the reason why those type of makers of that type of equipment are getting so, like, they feel real, they do this, they do that. And it's one of those things.
That a lot of men will say, oh, I love natural, look at Kendall Jenner. And then it's just like, okay, well,
Kendall Jenner's not natural.
wait a second, you don't know exactly what natural is. So I wanted to stay back and say, well, maybe I disagree because their perception of natural beauty isn't exactly in tune. But I also feel like if you were dating a guy and had no procedures done, he may be more attracted to that reality than he is attracted to dating a woman who has had procedures done. So you might look like Megan Fox, and that will get you a lot of male attention. But I think when you're dating a man, as soon as he finds out, oh, you've had a rhinoplasty, you've had a boob job, you've had this, he's thinking, what do you actually look like? What am I getting here? You know, if we procreate and have a child, am I actually getting the girl who looks like Megan Fox, or am I going to get a child who looks totally different? And I've heard a lot of men now complain.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I've said before. And yes, sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes it ain't. I mean, but I still think that they're going to be still attracted no matter what.
Complain about false advertising. So they're trending towards the natural, even though if aesthetically it may not be as pleasing to them.
You're nodding your head. Is this something you like experienced?
Oh yeah, I get
personally?
comments like that all the time, like, "Oh, your kids aren't gonna have that booty," or like, "Your kids aren't gonna look like you." I mean, I haven't touched my face yet.
Yeah.
But if I do, you know, if I have kids, they won't look like that.
Hi, buddies.
Hello.
What's up?
A lot of men like natural bodies and natural girls who don't get any work done because they are thinking about, you know, what about my kids? Can I bring them around my parents? You know, how are people going to perceive me bringing someone who has a freaking 44-inch hips and butt? You know.
How has it impacted your personal dating life?
It affects it because they only see that, right? And obviously they can see my social media and they'll see, okay, well, she's done like Playboy, right? So you have some legs all open for that, right? Other men is
I'm not trying to be negative, but she's done Playboy.
gonna see that and then, judge me, or that's not mine, that's not exclusive to me.
Nobody needs to judge, but I mean, on the other hand, why should Playboy be brought up? I mean, if you did it, you did it. If you didn't, oh well, it doesn't matter. But it's one of those that I'm like, I haven't picked up a Playboy, and I think the last one that I've picked up was the one where Maria from the WWE was on there, even though that she doesn't work with the WWE no more. But I think that was the last one.
If I go on a date, I know I have to be very conscious with what I wear. Because if I wear something like this, his mind is like, how am I gonna devour her? It's not like, okay, what are we gonna do on our second date?
I've dated multiple people. They're like, they start dating me, and then, but you'd be so much better blonde. And I know that's not a procedure or surgery, but the last person I dated, he would tell me all the time how I needed a boob job, or I needed my butt done. Like, I needed these things. It was like, yeah,
And you're with the wrong guy or person. Why? Why here's the thing. There's a million other people in this world. Why subject your mental being, your mental wealth, and go down these rabbit holes of changing your bodies because some guy said, you look good with a big butt. You look good with a big boob. You look good with 3 of them. Put one right over the top of your face. Come on. Come on now. I mean, literally, yes, those was all jokes, but why put yourself in a relationship or a date? I'd rather, and this is being honest to God, I'd rather date somebody that's totally unattractive to me, that pursues, that just glows confidence, than to have somebody say, well, and also takes care of their person, whoever they're with, than to be around a person, well, you need an extra boob over the top of your face or I won't touch you. Come on now.
just a plain Jane without it. Like, this is gross. And I'm like, why are you dating me? Right?
You want to say something, I can
Go.
feel it.
I think men think with two heads, and the top of their head, this one wants the natural girl. And I think, really, to touch on your point, like, for a guy to make a girl his wife, he has to be sexually attracted to her, and that's where the other head comes in. And
Men think with one head whenever it comes to attraction. Men think with one head.
They don't gravitate towards the natural girl. I hate to bring them up, but, you know, the Jenner sisters, it's like one of them, everybody thinks of plastic surgery when the other one has just as much, but one just looks a little more exaggerated than the other. I think men don't know what natural looks like. I think, you know, if you get filler, if you get Botox to a normal degree, I don't think they'll care that much. They say they do, but at the end of the day, I feel like the guys who complain about that stuff on these podcasts or things like that, they only surround themselves with girls with BBLs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they say they do, and you know, so you have guys commenting on everything. How do they end up with that video in the first place?
Period.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like,
Great point.
They're more upset that they know they could never get with you. Like, let's
exactly.
be
I
real.
feel like it's a more like anger thing.
Think of the nicest guy you know, who's a generally good guy, who's not judging you based off your BBL or something like that. Is it a bonus to have dated somebody who has had plastic surgery? He may be attracted, he may date, he may even marry, but I don't ever think a guy is thinking, hell yeah, she got a rhinoplasty, or like, the
If it
boob
makes
job
her
is really
hotter,
what
though,
cemented this
yeah.
relationship.
Well, like,
You know?
okay.
Makes her hotter.
Yeah, if it makes you more attractive. Like, I don't think a guy cares about, like, literally he wants the surgery. He just wants the outcome of the
Yeah.
surgery, you know?
I mean, I completely agree with you in terms of the outcome. Like, I'm thinking of a very specific couple. They were very happy prior to her having a boob job, and that's fine. But then when she was like, hey, I'm gonna do that, he was like, perfect. Can I help pick the size? What is it gonna feel like? This is so exciting. And like, he loved her before, but it definitely was a bonus for him. Where he was like, I love you doing what you're doing, as long as I get to touch them.
And that's why I say disagree too, because look at you can look at the statistics with Pornhub and all these things. It's usually married men who are getting caught, you know, and those are the ones who are with the natural non-surged woman, but then they're doing what they're doing, you know, to the BBL girl.
Celebrities should always
Definitely. But then, I mean, you look at it this way, you're going to be attracted to whoever you're attracted to, no matter whether they have the cosmetic surgeries or whether they're natural beauties. But the thing is that it doesn't matter. I guess one of the things, and it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a guy, everybody's got two heads. Everybody's got that sexual head, and and everybody's, well, I say they got the common sense head, but they don't sometimes. But I digress. This video, everybody's got two heads. But the thing is that everybody thinks with one head. And that's, you can be funny, you can be laughing and everything else, and that's just how you are. But then in the end, you're going to be like, okay, is it really there or is it not there?
always be transparent about their cosmetic procedures.
Definitely should be transparent in all their cosmetic procedures, because then you start having kids at 16 wanting this and wanting that, just like what we discussed earlier, a dancer at 16. That is just plain weird. That's weird. That's who does that? Must be a bigger city type person.
I think because they're celebrities and in the spotlight and very much influencing a wide variety of ages and people, that they need to be just honest about what they're doing and why, because they're putting an example on the culture and especially young people. That's not to say if the cosmetic procedure is something that was like reconstructive or internal and it's not like an aesthetic thing, that was like, you know, they were in an accident or, you know, something like the young child she talked about with the labia. That doesn't need to be spoken about. You know, that's super private and totally unnecessary, I think.
Which I agree, it shouldn't have never made the show.
unless it's like an actual interview that's highlighting that for whatever reason to empower people on that subject.
When I hear should, I think of the very like philosophical should, right? Like I'm kind of taking the ethical stance where I'm like, I think that it is the proper ethics for people who are in a position to influence the masses to be honest and open when they know that not being could be detrimental. Now, if they don't, do I think they're the worst person in the world? No. We can't force celebrities just because you're a celebrity. They don't technically owe us anything.
When I see celebrities and they're on the older side, or even vice versa, when they have body work done, I question whether or not they got that through hard work or they're just genetically like that, and what do I have to do to achieve that? And I start internalizing things and my insecurity.
But why would you want to internalize something like that? Why would you want to look like them?
Insecurities start coming out. I'm like, why can't I look like that? I've been hip thrusting 500 pounds in the gym and I don't have a booty like Cardi B. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you can work so hard, but your genetics only take you so far.
Yeah.
And then with aging, like Botox and things like that, I'll start thinking, oh my gosh, I look so ugly, there's something wrong with me because I'm not aging gracefully. Nowadays, like seeing celebrities, if they talk about what Botox or things that they've gotten done, and it can help me understand, oh, this is what they did, and I could just pay to play kind of thing instead of have to wonder what's wrong with my genetic. Liposuction, for example, I had an eating disorder growing up, and that's kind of what fueled my social media originally. And a lot of girls are starving themselves to get the tiniest waist possible because they think that's how they did it.
Also, like, if we're all gonna assume that you have it done, then why lie? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody should care. And this is being truthful. Why do you care? Why do you care so much that you are wanting this done to fuel who? Who are you fueling up to even think about? I'm at a loss for words on this one.
We got chairs.
People and patients in particular have a right to privacy and confidentiality, so there's no onus on you to tell us exactly what's been done, even if you're a celebrity. My preference is that you don't lie, that you don't say, I am natural, or I haven't undergone any cosmetic surgeries. My preference is also that you don't try to sell me something. Like the Kardashians were doing the tummy teas, and then you have fitness influencers, as you were talking about, selling you glute programs and all this stuff. So
Or J-Lo with her olive oil.
exactly. You don't have to tell me all the different
Hold up. J-Lo's got olive oil? Is it edible?
things you got done. That is between you and your doctor. Just don't try to sell me this false reality that you're natural.
Yes.
She said that's between me and my patient.
No, because it's true. I mean, there's actual confidentiality laws.
Yeah, but you broke one coming onto the show and said the first story.
I mean, we can't out anyone, and I know a lot of celebrities have been brought up here. None of us know if they've had anything done. None of us know. I mean, we can say we think we know, but we don't know. But again, I've treated tons of normal people and tons of celebrities, and it is 100% private, and I would never obligate them to speak up about their own personal procedures that they've had done. It's actually law that they have the right to that privacy.
I think if you're going to out them and make them talk about this, they should talk about the whole thing, not just how good they look, but the whole thing of, oh, it hurt like hell. It hurt like Satan was sitting right on top of my face.
And I think the only people that you can
Maybe that would discourage people from, I mean, just having it done just to keep up with the Jenners and the Kardashians and stuff like that.
Not everybody cares about quality. Some people just want crap. If that's you, Bespoke Post is not for you.
hold accountable is yourself. To blame a celebrity and have the sole responsibility on a celebrity to out themselves and justify make you feel secure and make sure and expose themselves for you, how can you even ask? How can you even ask that?
I have a question for you, actually, as a plastic surgeon, because I go on YouTube and I see these very viral videos of plastic surgeons breaking down celebrity faces and letting the public know what they've got done. Do you think that that's ethical, given that they're part of that relationship?
I think it's dumb. If you never want to have a celebrity patient, go ahead and do that. I was on a panel with someone who has 1.2 million followers on an Instagram account where all they're doing is outing celebrities, and I can guarantee you they have 0 celebrity patients. I think it's very entertaining. I think everyone wants the tea and everyone wants to know what the scoop is, but as a person actually treating these people, I would never do that. And that's why, again, I brought up, like, we don't know what these people have had done. So,
because it's the part of keeping constant confidentiality and focus. You came on the show talking about a teenager, not even out of high school, having this, but yet you're willing to keep your patients that have 1 million followers or that's a celebrity. I mean, quit being a hypocrite.
let's, you know, we can say, you know, we've been influenced by them and certainly they've set some beauty trends, but, you know, no.
I don't want to say it's necessarily like I look at a celebrity online and like, oh my God, how do I get that done? Like if I don't look like them, I'm so insecure. That's not where it comes from. But I just think like I said, I'm a weirdly open book and I'm a little maybe too forward sometimes. Like I'll look at somebody and one of my friends, I'm like, oh my God, did you get your teeth done? And like, I know that's like super, you shouldn't be doing that, but I'm just like, oh, they look good. Like where? Like, send me the tea, bestie. Like that's just how I am. But I don't think, should they be obligated to? Like obviously have to, no. But should you? Like, yeah, why lie?
So with that, everyone, thank you for your honesty. Thank you for sharing today. I feel like we found some middle ground today. This was awesome.
All right, thank you for coming in. Thank you for doing everything that you do, showing the love to the page. Try to have long form videos for you, short form videos. I mean, just we have shorts, we have long form. You know, this has been going on for 2 hours and 7 minutes, guys. So thank you for coming in, watching this, commenting down below. I read every one of y'all's comments, whether it's good or bad. The thing is that, yes, I do not deal with the bad comments. My mods do. So if yours gets removed, it gets removed. I don't see it. But, yes, thank y'all for coming in. Thank you for being there. Please subscribe. Please follow me on all of my social media accounts. I absolutely love each and every one of y'all. If you have any type of comment that you want to say that deals with this video, put it down in the thing down there, the comment section. I don't know why I called it the thing, but much love to each and every one of y'all. I will see y'all on the next vid. Peace, love, in that chicken grease. Let's go.